Hello, it's Sean, here with the Bumbling Vlog. I'm here to do my 20 questions tag that Alice tagged me a couple weeks ago. And so, prompt 1 is how many books, or the series, is how long is a series, isn't it? Personally, I don't really mind how long a series is if it's good. Just keep going. Like, it's good to have a natural end. I would say probably a good series, probably about 8 or 9, probably. Sort of when you start to run out of characters, but obviously you transition to new characters. And is that a new series or not? Bit hard to tell. Prompt 2 is cliffhangers. If a cliffhanger is necessary, which I don't know if cliffhanger is ever really necessary to some degree. Like if it's a dead end and nothing can possibly happen, then obviously there's no cliffhanger. But sometimes you want like a hard stop, but it was like a few little threads being split. So it's like, oh, what could happen? Not like you get to the end and then threads go everywhere. And like, if a book is sort of written to have a cliffhanger, and the cliffhanger wants you wanting more, but also keeps you happy with that book itself, that's really that's the best time to have a cliffhanger, really. Prompt 3 is hardback or paperback, and as you can see, we have the paperback of Golden Sun and the hardback of Golden Sun. This is a proof; it doesn't quite count, but like, just look at the spines. Hardbacks look so much cooler. You can swap out the jackets and everything if you want. You know, you still got at least 2 different covers you can have, if not more, which is really cool. Oh, you can also get custom sleeves for books. I think hardbacks look a lot cooler, but personally reading, I would also want to read a paperback because it's just lighter, easier to read, easier to grip. I also did a whole video a couple weeks ago about paperbacks and hardbacks, where I sort of go more into depth. Prompt number 4 favourite book is Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is the first book in this bind up. Yeah, it's always a good laugh, good exciting book. You know, space travel and hitchhiking across the galaxy. Yeah, just a really fun book to read. Always recommend that to people. Prompt 5 is my least favourite book, and honestly, I don't really know. I have a lot of bad books. I don't know if I have exactly least favourite. I don't know if you can hear the babies upstairs. They're currently having fun with Alice, which I'm a bit jealous I'm not up there having fun with them. I don't know. I guess any of the books I've recently DNF'd for my least favourite, because obviously if I enjoyed it, why would I DNF it? So didn't enjoy it, so I'm going to DNF it for whatever reason. Prompt 6 is love triangles, yes or no? Honestly, if they're just there to be a love triangle, no. But there are some good examples probably, but honestly, no. It's normally pretty obvious straight away who's going to be with who. Prompt 7 is the most recent book I couldn't finish, and that was Dead Days Journal. And it was mostly because I thought it was going to be a really interesting post-apocalyptic dystopia survival thing with zombies, but no, it turned out to be. I stopped about 20% or something, and basically nothing happened apart from she was obviously falling in love with the guy. It's like, this is clearly not what I was told it was going to be. It's a romance set in a dystopian. It's not a dystopian that happens to have a romance. I'm more interested in dystopians rather than the romances. Obviously, romances happen, but honestly, it was not what it turned out to be. But it turned out to be vampires, and there was some weird sexual assault stuff. Alice also DNF'd it, but she carried on reading a bit further after me, so yeah. Prompt 8 is book I'm currently reading, and I'm currently reading that, and there we go. Shadow Rising, book currently reading with Alice. We are somewhat way in. We're reading, I think, about 50 pages a day until the end of the month, which is pretty cool. Got that there. Prompt 9 is the last book you'd recommend to someone. So I don't know if that means the last book I've read that I'd recommend to someone, or the book I wouldn't recommend to someone. But that would be, I don't know where it is because we've reorganised our bookshelf recently. It'd be the Illuminae, just the first one. First one's really good. You can skip the other ones if you want, but the first one is like, it's artwork. It's not a book, it's just art. It's really, really good. Number 10 is the oldest book by publish date I've read, and that'd probably be a Shakespeare, because I had to read Macbeth and Romeo and Juliet in school, so I guess those would count. Newest book by publication date would be, what's it called? All Our Hidden Gifts, because that isn't actually out yet. I don't know, it's either just come out or it isn't out yet. But Alice and I read that through her NetGalley. So that's the most recent one we've read. Favorite author? I don't really have a favorite author. I have a fishbowl of authors. So you've got like Douglas Adams in that fishbowl, Pierce Brown in the fishbowl, Darren Shan, although he's sort of sinking down that fishbowl to be a bit of a less favourite. Who else have we read? Robin Stevens, really good author, one of my favourite authors. R.L. Stein, he's sort of in that fishbowl. He's a bit low down the fishbowl of favourite authors. Buying books or borrowing books? Obviously, it's easier to borrow books, but if you're going to do any sort of writing in books, to buy them, obviously, you don't want to write in library books. But normally, just get them on the phone through the library, just borrow it, send it back. Lots of other downloadable library books that you can get from lots of your local ones and online ones. It's really good, really good access to books. 14 is a book that I dislike that everyone seems to love, and honestly, I had something for this, but I think I've forgotten it. Oh yes, it was The Damned and the Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. Not at all what it was set out to be. Like, it was set out as a vampire book. I really like vampires. Vampires are cool. But also I hold vampires to quite a high standard, and it just, the first one was okay. I think that was The Damned. Or The Beautiful. The first one in that was once a duology. Now it's a series. Was really good, it was okay. Had a unique twist, and the second one was awful. Absolute hot steaming pirate dumpster fire. There's a bit towards the end, last little bit, where the protagonist guy goes to the other realm, the other plane of existence that they have in this series, which is kind of cool. More planes of existence, but it's not really kind of semi-brushed over, which is interesting. So, anyway, that happens. And then he's there, and he's like, I need to find this thing, and it's like, done, and he's out. Like, for a chapter or so, or page. Like, the same sort of thing happens with, like, Holly Bourne's Queen of Nothing. There's a snake. Literally. On the cover, there's a snake for, like, a chapter and a half. Completely pointless. Everyone loves that book. Why? It's not good. Or, it might be good for you, but it's dog ear or bookmark. And honestly, anything that can be used as a bookmark, like, I think currently we have a little scrap of a magazine. I don't actually know what one is, but it's some sort of like little scrap of paper. Works quite well for a bookmark. So bookmarks all round, always have bookmarks. Otherwise you end up like ripping the page and they look a bit gammy. Especially when you like your fancy hardbacks, don't want to put dog ears on them. Number 16 is a book you can always reread. That is either Red Rising. You know, got to mention Red Rising in every single video that I have, or Douglas Adams' Guardians of the Galaxy, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah, these two books, both science fiction. One hard hitting, one nice light comedy. You know, depends what mood, but like can always reread them. Always good for a laugh. Quite quick reads. Number 17 is, can you read a book while listening to music? And that's just no. People feel that's a superpower. If you can listen to music and read a book. Although I will admit I can listen to, like, I'll put my headphones in just to block out the world and like reduce the baby sounds, or outside like just traffic and stuff, and I'll read. But honestly, no, I don't know how you can listen to music and be trying to input and read. It just doesn't go in. So I'm just staring at a blank page and then blank page, blank page, blank page. So no. Number 18 is one POV or multiple, and because like Red Rising, one POV, very very good. But also, Harry Potter, wherever that is, awful one POV. Like you just get told events, and it's just like I'm asleep. Could I just rip these pages out? Just skip them. Like, so sometimes it's really good if it suits your story, but then also books, sometimes they do need multiple POVs just to get the pace, and you don't want to be retold an event that's already happened to the protagonist you're following as if it was happening then, but obviously it's already happened to you what the outcome is. It just seems a bit pointless and silly, and it's a huge exercise in wasting time and wasting ink and paper and words for everybody involved. 19. Do you take multiple days to read a book or one sitting? So depending on how big the book, not like these ones, the Darren Chan's, probably could do them in a day. Probably squeeze them into a day by myself, I think. But then I was like, this isn't that much bigger, but like this, I couldn't do this in a day. I'm not that much of a fast reader for books normally, so I'd probably say multiple days. But if I'm doing an audiobook, 2.5 times speed, whack it out really really quick. So I could audiobook really quick. I can read quite slow. So yeah, probably something weird about that. And number 20 is who would I tag? And honestly, I don't know. I hadn't thought this far ahead. Definitely, I'll tag you. Who's already done this? Is issue like people like that I would tag have already done this video. I might have to come back later to this, but yeah, I'll definitely tag you. Who do I follow that hasn't already done it? Because literally, I've just seen Break Even Books has just uploaded it. Alice tagged Connor Stephanopoulos. Sorry for butchering your name, but Alice tagged him. I don't know. I can't even tag Alice because she's tagged the one that tagged me. But yeah, thank you for watching the Bumbling Blogger. We always appreciate a subscribe and a like down below, and give us a comment, see if you disagreed. And also, if you tag yourself, if you do this, always let us know. Always happy to interact with the comments down below and let us know. I've been Sean Can't Read, and I will see you next week. And if I run over, there we go. Shadow